This is my friend Jerry's Bluebird, 1992. Isn't it beautiful? And it's got a 8V92 in it, and he's here because he has a problem with an oil leak where the oil is coming out of the exhaust. He's replaced the turbo feed line, and then he took off the manifold pipe, and the oil is coming from the exhaust manifold on one side. So now we just need to diagnose and figure out why that's happening. Hopefully it'll be something real simple, but he's prepared that it may not be. So we'll see when we tear into it. But I'll end up doing an interior tour of this here, show you the inside of it. It's a beautiful, beautiful bus. Obviously the Wanderlodge stuff, you know, they do some really nice conversions on there. Oh man, Wanderlodge people get mad when you call them conversion. Oh my God. They do a really nice motorhome. Yeah, it's beautiful. My friend Jerry brought me this as a gift. Isn't this awesome? It's a DeWalt polisher, 90-degree angle polisher.
I can get it open for you.
That's how you show up to get your friend to work on your bus. You bring him a gift. He said, "Happy Father's Day." I'm like, "You're not my daddy," or "I'm not your daddy." That's awesome, though. I think he's telling me my bus needs to be polished.
It does.
Jerry's kind of a neat freak, though. But no, that's a great gift. I really appreciate that.
It's heavy. You're going to get a workout with your arms.
Yeah. Okay, so this is a 8V92, and the problem that we're having is there's oil leak coming out of the exhaust on it, and it's making a mess. The first thing that he went after, it had the oil leak when you bought it, right? From there, he thought it was the turbo, so you replaced the turbo. Still had the oil leak out the exhaust.
Correct.
And then you replaced the oil feed line to the turbo, still had the leak out the exhaust. Took it into a shop to have them look at it, and they had a over $9,000 quote on it, but all they were going to do was replace the turbo, the oil feed, and then a bunch of other stuff like belts and miscellaneous things that weren't complaints of his, but nothing they did to address what the problem is. So he had some input from Jeff at Gino's Garage, who's a active poster on our stuff and on our Patreon, and removed this exhaust tube that comes from the manifold that feeds into the turbo, and oil was clearly coming out of the exhaust manifold. He stuck a flashlight down in there, and the front of the flashlight had oil splatter on it. And then you also removed the one on the other side, correct?
Correct.
And this side is dry.
Correct.
There's no oil whatsoever. So what's happening for the oil coming out of the turbo is something on this side of the engine. We don't know if it's valve guide seals, or there's something going on with an injector, or bad rings. We have no idea at this point. So we're going to see if it's one certain cylinder. But we're going to reconfirm everything. We're going to take these pipes off, run it, verify the oil is actually coming from the manifold itself. The ideal situation would be if it was just valve guide seals. That would be awesome. But you can see the oil that's coming out of the exhaust here, and then the fan catches it and blows it, and it's kind of all over everything on here. So it's kind of hard to sometimes tell where it's coming from, but it's obvious there that that's where it starts at. So this is a D-deck motor, and I don't work on the D-deck side of things, but this is obviously a mechanical problem, not a electronic problem. So that's why I was willing to do this here. Okay, he's gonna fire it up here using my Olight flashlight. It's pretty awesome. It's the Warrior X. So there is no oil coming out on my flashlight there. And when I look inside of here, there is no oil leak. This is bone dry. It's just some carbon in there, like a toner cartridge kind of soot. That's how it should look. There is a leak coming from the mount of the turbo, small, and it's running down the blower and into that back valley, but that's not big enough to make this. Why there's oil up here on this, it's because it's flinging around from the fan and the engine compartment is just catching in that groove. So it looks like maybe it's coming out of the exhaust because it's running down the exhaust pipe, but it's not internally in the muffler. So we got to keep looking for this oil leak and find out where it's coming from. But yeah, everything's all nasty on the bottom, but it's like flicking and flying everywhere, and the fan's making it go up to the top, and then it's catching in that groove. So I got to find the source of this leak and figure out what's going on. But the good news is there is not oil coming out of the exhaust. It just sort of looked like it. So this oil cooler's got oil all over it. These hoses, everything under here. Yeah, all this stuff is just gooey, nasty from a pretty major oil leak. He's been going about I think he said a gallon every 800 miles that he's been losing on oil. So just got to go find the source of this and figure it out. So here I'll do this tour of this beautiful Wanderlodge while we're waiting for the air to come up on it here. But just the finishes on it. I mean, the Bluebird logo, that's really cool. So come up in. The number one thing is that, you feel like you're flying the space shuttle here with all the gauges and stuff like that. The view of the front, just gorgeous. It's reupholstered everything. He left a little piece of the original fabric back there. Flowers, you can see, but he redid the couches, chairs. It's got a lot of great features. He's redone the tiling back here. Originally that window was hidden with a mirror. But the window was there, so he re-exposed it and put the tile. You have the blender mount right in the countertop. There's an ice maker that's down here. Microwave convection oven plus the stove top. This is the fridge over here where it's got the panels on the front, so it looks like a cabinet. Just gorgeous. And as you come in the big bathroom here, one, it's got a jacuzzi tub in it. The toilet's around the corner behind the door there. Big closet. This door slides out. Bedroom. All kinds of switches back here where you can lock the front doors and do the alarm and all kinds of stuff from back here. That was pretty cool. There's a 2-foot deep cedar lined closet back behind those glass doors there. So you got big closet space. It's just beautiful, isn't it? Super nice. The flooring that he upgraded to here, it's very, very nice. So we got the engine all buttoned back up. We're going to take it, cleaned it up real good, degreased it. We're going to take it for a test drive and see if we can tell where the big oil leaks are coming from. So we're going to take it up the hill to turn it around and then take it on a drive through town. Transmission shifted into second and then back down to first there. Stay wide to the outside at the top here. You're gonna go to the right, but you just don't want to cut this corner too much. There you go. Go to the right. There you go. You got it. And then about halfway on between here and here. Go back that way a little bit. There you go. Just pull I'd pull all the way forward about to where the hose thing's at. Okay, and then you'll be able to back up and swing it in one shot.
I guess you're watching on that side, right?
Yeah, you're good over here so far. Cut it.
What do you say?
Yeah, you're pretty good there. I would keep it in low gear here, put it in 1. Because otherwise the transmission will try to upshift on you here as you go down, because it doesn't know you, it doesn't know you want to go slow.
Right.
Just steady, even pressure.
Say that again.
Just steady, even pressure on the brakes. That's all. You got it. If people only knew how steep this hill really was in real life, because the videos don't do it justice at all.
I agree.
Even this part is downhill, but it doesn't look like it. You know?
Beautiful property, no doubt.
Go ahead and shift your transmission back into regular mode. Looks like I need to cut my trees back a little bit for you.
I'll do that for you, watch.
Stay kind of to the left of the gravel here, because to make it the right turn, as long as you're out, this is all hard packed, so you're fine here. Because we're going to turn right. We're just giving you more room to get into the lane. There you go. You got it.
Don't hit the mailbox.
Try not to. And then we're going to make a left at the road there. It's kind of hard. I don't even know if you could make the right turn in this. So we'll go up to the courthouse square, and we'll make a left turns to go all the way around the courthouse to come back the other way.
Yep.
It's kind of trusting.
Very unique. Tight.
That was a tight turn.
Everybody looks at me like, oh my God.
rides like a dream. Super smooth ride, very quiet.
I may need front shocks, so that was part of on my list of, hey, Scott, you want to look at the shocks to see? Because they bounce around a lot. You know, if I did.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a little bouncy. Whatever the leak is, it's coming from up high, around that corner. I actually saw it drip, and then it dripped onto one of these lower things, so I saw a couple hanging there, but that's not, it's coming around that back corner, and then dripping onto these lower parts, so. Somewhere up around the corner of the block there, a bunch of oil is coming down. There's enough where I could actually see it dripping. Okay, I'm up top in the bedroom going through the access hole. The boot that goes between the blower drive gear there.
You don't want an extension?
No, thank you.
Okay.
I can see the oil leak was coming from up here. And I can grab this clamp right here. And I just pushed it down 2 inches with my fingers. It was up here. I went to see if it was loose. I pushed it and it moved. So there's a band clamp on that rubber boot and it's loose. So that rubber boot is leaking at the bottom. Pretty good amount of oil. Look how far I was able to run that down to get it tight. That's been an oil leak for a long time. Jerry's come back from his test drive. He went on about a 20-30 mile test drive. Probably 30 miles. Good. Okay, we've been back for about 15 minutes from the test drive here, and there was one drip that we saw on the ground, and normally he would have a big, like 2 or 3 inch puddle under there. Yep. So we definitely are making great strides on fixing the oil issues here. There's a little shininess there. That's from the old oil that I wiped up, but yeah, the only drip that we have is right there on the left. The rest is just little chunks of carbon and grease down under here. But yeah, nothing has come down. That was old that I wiped up but didn't clean up all the way. Much improved. Those blowers can leak a lot of oil. Just ran water down to him so he can hook up his tank and fill his fresh water tank. He's been on the road for several days, and he didn't leave home with it totally full because he went to a campground. Well, it turned out the campground didn't have a hookup for him, so he's able to run 2 of those rooftop air conditioning on our power, no problem. So that's good. The Scenic Cruiser ran 2 airs, but only one was a rooftop, and the other one was like an indoor portable cooler unit, a smaller BTU rating. So this is good. He's running 2 of those. I haven't had him try all 3. I'd be afraid to do it. I think 2 is more than enough for people to run here, but yep, so look how nice that looks down there. Shock is definitely bad. You can see that the oil is leaked out of it. It's all wet. It's a Coney. There's a number 9002 on the other one And then we have another number, 90-209 SP1. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Which is an adjustable one. These are not adjustable ones. So
90249.
oh, 90 dash
SB1.
90 dash what?
90497.
497
SP1.
We didn't have the dash in there on our paperwork, but oh, I gotta go shut the water off. Just drain the oil out of it, put new oil in it, Dello 100, straight 40 weight. Change the oil filter. Getting ready to fire it up here. We did prime the oil filter before it went on.
Starting.
Okay. This is the Raycor, and it does have a water separator at the bottom, so there's a little drain here, and it's on a hose. I'm going to put it into a bottle just so we can see what comes out when we drain the bottom before we change the filter. I just want to see what kind of nastiness is down in there. Actually, oh. Yeah, there's some sediment in there. Okay, the Raycor drain is completely plugged. I don't know if you can see all the, is it showing? Oh, there's sediment in there. And the actual, I got my finger, if you want to show this, no fuel's even coming out of the bottom really because it's so plugged up in there. So I'm going to have to clean this out and then jam a screwdriver. Might be too long. Where's that snap-on hose pick thing? Grab that. Okay, if you want to hold my phone as best you can there. Where's that screwdriver at? Maybe that screwdriver will fit in there. Do you have that? Oh, I'm gonna need like a coat hanger or something. Still more. Not to mention what's already still coming out. Grab me a paper towel. Just changed the fuel filters. The one strainer was really dirty. Took a while to get it flowing even out of there. So we'll get it, just gonna fire it up here. Might run rough for a couple seconds because of the little bit of air that's in the lines. But the fuel filters are all primed. And the beauty of that Raycor is that you do not lose prime like you do on a regular filter. I threw some little bottles on here yesterday just to monitor how much oil was coming out of his airbox drains. There's very little coming out, but just to keep the oil from dripping on the ground, we're going to go ahead and mount up a catch can for these, a permanent one that we're making out of a piece of PVC pipe. So it'll just keep the driveway clean whenever he goes somewhere. Because this has the check valves in it that close when you're going down the highway, and then when you park or you have low RPM, the check valves open, and then it lets the oil drip out. So you'll park somewhere and you'll get 4 or 5 drips on the ground, And we're just going to avoid that for him by having a catch can. But I wanted to monitor how much was coming out first, just to make sure, because you got to pay attention to the engine. And one of the signs of things that's going wrong is how much fluid is coming out of those catch cans. So we're going to be good with that, but we're just going to stop it from dripping on the ground. So here's our 4-inch pipe that we made, and we drilled these holes in it here. I think we drilled them 5/8. That's what the hose fits right through there, nice and snug. And then we got some end caps that we're going to glue onto it. And then I've got this oil absorbent material that I'm going to put on the inside of it, just so it doesn't slosh around and come out. Should keep it in there nice and good. What do we have, 20 bucks in parts?
About, yep.
There is a very small vent hole that I put in there too, just so in case it seals up around here so it doesn't pressurize in there. Okay, so there we got it mounted up in there, and we got the absorbent material on the inside so it won't slosh out. It's got a vent hole in the top, and the tubes just poke down right into it, so nothing will slosh out of there. It's up out of the way. It's not going to hit anything. It's not the lowest thing, and you really can't even see. You can't see it at all back there, right?
No.
It's up under the oil pan. This is the estimate that he got to have his oil leak issue fixed, which he took it in complaining to them that he thought that the oil was leaking out of the exhaust. They didn't actually obviously remove the turbo, because they would have saw, like I did, that there was not oil coming out of the turbo. That was oil coming from somewhere else that was leaking on the exhaust pipe. But if he would have just okayed the bill, they would have done all this work, put a new turbo on it, which you take it in for an oil leak, and the turbocharger, the oil cooler line, the air conditioning compressor belt. The air conditioning doesn't even work on it, does it? Fan belt, alternator belt, coolant hose, oil filter, exhaust clamps. Oh, look what they're gonna put 15W40 oil in it too. They're Detroit Diesel experts. Yeah, it's a 8V92. So yeah, that we got all that problem, that his initial complaint with the oil leak, we got that fixed. It was about $350 in labor for that part of it. We ended up doing some other things on the bus too since he was here, but I'm glad that he came, that he took the time to do it and didn't just pay this bill, because he would have had this work done and still had the exact same oil leak that was his initial complaint. He had actually already fixed it one time, replaced the turbo thinking that's what the problem was, and then he still had the oil leak. So for them to, and you told them that, correct?
Correct.
And so to say that you're going to replace the turbo again after he said that he already replaced it, that's crazy. So I'm glad he didn't do it. I'm glad he came here. I'm glad we got him hooked up for a heck of a lot less money than that. Well, Jerry's getting ready to leave. It sure was nice having him here, visiting with him. The best part for me was being able to save him all that money on that repair. I'm so happy for him now that he's going to be able to go places and not worry about leaving a huge oil puddle. I know it sucks when you pull into an RV park, you park somewhere and you got, a great big oil puddle underneath of you. So hopefully we got, 95% of his oil leaks taken care of. It's a Detroit, so you can't go for 100. But we've done everything I think that we can, and his major issue, that huge oil leak, we actually fixed 3 of them. There was an oil line that was loose as well, and then a fitting that was loose that was causing some oil drips. Nothing at all like that one on the blower though. That was just crazy. So I'm excited for him that he's going to use a lot less oil now. He's not going to make a mess everywhere. He's going to be a happy owner, and he saved a ton of money. Over 90% by the time it was done with what I charged versus what the other shop was going to do. All that needless, wasted stuff that they were going to do. That's what's just sickening about it. Could you imagine actually paying for that and then still having the same problem you went in with? And I appreciate the fact that they wanted to replace some belts and things, but that's unnecessary if that's what his complaint was. You could maybe flag it as, hey, this probably should be done, but that was just kind of crazy. He also said when he took it there, he took it on a Thursday, and when he came back, it was parked exactly the same as when he left it, and nothing was taken off of the turbo, none of those pipes. He knew where the fittings where he'd put them on, and they were all exactly the same position. He had them all perfectly lined up, and I doubt that somebody else would have done that. So he really felt like nobody even looked into it. They just kind of wrote up an estimate without even looking at it, which is crazy. A couple hours of diagnosis, and we figured out what the problem was, fixed it. He's going to be coming up the hill here in a minute. This should make a cool video from up here. Okay, just kept it in low gear, rode it up on the governor, and away it went. A little bit of smoke because it was working hard. You want to go all the way to touch it? There you go. Alright, he's getting ready to head out. The funny thing was he did a happy dance when he was leaving. Because his bus was fixed, not because he was happy to be leaving.
Up his tools, check the air and all those duels. It's that bus grease monkey, don't you know? Well, he's got a long hard ride in on Lenny the Silver Sides. Get that bus grease monkey on the road. Well, he's got that hammer down and that 47 Hound. It's that bus grease monkey on the road. He travels all around and he's coming to your town. Get that bus grease monkey down the road. See that 4104 with the propped up engine door. Watch that bus grease monkey do his thing. 30 years behind that barn, 'cause it don't run worth a darn. Watch that bus grease monkey make it sing. He knows them Detroits, there's no doubt, upside down and inside out. It's that bus grease monkey, don't you know? Saving buses far and wide in that old blue Silver Sides. It's that bus grease monkey, don't you know? Now he's moved his family to the hills of Tennessee. Watch that bus grease monkey make his home, bringing buses back to life with the help of his dear wife. Watch that bus grease monkey get it done. Well, he travels town to town looking on them old greyhounds. It's that bus grease monkey, don't you know? Saving buses far and wide in old Lenny the Silver Sides. It's that bus grease monkey, don't you know? It's that bus grease monkey, don't you know? It's that bus grease monkey, don't you know?